And this, of course, includes a strong national defense, but not an offense. It should be a defense. We should defend our country as necessary. If we go to war, if the wars have to be fought, they should be fought, won, get them over with, and get the troops back home as quickly as possible. But there has been a steady erosion of personal liberties in this country, and that is what we have been so careless about. But that's been going on for a long time. It got especially bad in the last 10 years or so. 9/11 helped create this. That was a terrible, terrible day, but I think the assessment was wrong, because the assessment was it had something to do with Iraq. And so therefore they used 9/11 as an excuse to go to Iraq, invade Iraq, fight a war there as well as Afghanistan. And that was not the cause. Al-Qaeda was not in Iraq, and they had no weapons of mass destruction, and that attitude is continued to this very day, because there are a bunch of people up in Washington right now and other candidates think that we can't wait till we go into Syria and into Iran. That makes no sense. We can't afford it. It won't help it, and it won't give us more defense. We have been careless about the protection of our civil liberties. For instance, right after 9/11, they passed a bill which was absolutely misnamed. They called it the Patriot Act. It should have been called the Unpatriotic Act. No, and if that bill would have been properly named and called it Repeal of the Fourth Amendment Act, it would have never been passed. But it is the Patriot Act that allows our government agents to invade our premises, in our houses, and invade our internet, our emails, and whatever they want to look at without a proper search warrant. Something the founders explicitly fought a revolution on and put it in the Fourth Amendment, the right of privacy. Today we have it turned upside down. We don't have privacy, but we have too much secrecy in government. We need much more openness of government and much more protection of our privacy as individuals. Frustrating as it might get at times, we do have victories. We've had one here recently in the last month or so, because there was a bill floating around, Stop Online Piracy Act. And this was an effort for the federal government to take over and control the internet. But a lot of people like you got word of it and sent a message, and Washington, even though they had majority votes in both the House and the Senate, once they heard from the people, they withdrew those bills, they took them off, and they are no longer pushing through the Congress. So the people have to be heard. And besides, how are we going to spread our message without the internet? But also, since that time, we've had other things that are discouraging as far as undermining personal liberties. The president announced a year ago that it was legal for him, as president and the commander-in-chief, that he would now be allowed to assassinate American citizens without a trial or without charges. And to prove that point, he's done it on 3 occasions. So that is the law according to the president. And when they asked him about this, where does it say in the Constitution you can assassinate an American citizen? He said, well, I can do anything I want except those things that are explicitly denied to me in the Constitution. I think he has that twisted around a bit. The president only has the authority to do the things that he has the explicit authority to do, and the rest he's not allowed to do. Which means a president, I promise to be that type of president, that I will not legislate by executive orders. I'll use the executive orders to repeal all those executive orders that are unconstitutional. It's not only the president that is undermining our personal liberties. The Congress laid it on a platter here just in December. They passed the National Defense Authorization Act. And here's a bill, many of you already know about it. It means that the president now has the authority to use the military to arrest an American citizen anytime he so chooses, if he wants to. No charges, no trial, no attorney, held in a secret prison indefinitely. That is not what America is all about. That that bill needs to repeal. But we can solve our problems by just finding the people who will read the Constitution, obey the Constitution, and emphasize personal liberty. Liberty will bring people together. Today, we're very divisive because all they're doing is fighting over power. Who's going to control the money? Which faction is going to control it? They all support the same foreign policy, the same monetary policy, the welfare system, the deficits, the whole mess. And they fight over the control and the power and who's going to get the benefits. But true liberty brings us together because people get to use the liberty the way they see fit. It's your life. You should do with your life what you want. People shouldn't tell you how to run your life as long as you don't hurt other people. If we carried that thought through, that means that if our life and our liberties come from our Creator, we ought to have the natural right to keep the fruits of all our labors and also. We see people as individuals and not in groups. Groups should never be punished because they belong to a group. A group should not have any benefits because they belong to a group. But all of us should come together, no matter how diverse we are, because there will be a difference in how we use our liberty, how we want to spend our money, what our social values are, what church we go to. So we should all come together in the defense of liberty, and then we should be left alone, and government should butt out of our lives and off our back and out of our walls. And government should butt out of our lives and off our back and out of our walls. And this is where we have the good news. This message is coming out loud and clear, and people are joining us. Especially, I'm so delighted to see the young people because they are energized by this. But there are many now that aren't so young, but young in spirit, and they know this too. And they know that the status quo isn't working. The financial system, the Keynesian economic theory isn't working. We have to do something better, and we've had a taste of this. We had the best example of a free society ever. We had the largest and the richest middle class ever, and we are now, unfortunately, letting it slip away. So we have to recapture this, and this is emphasizing personal liberty, the Constitution, sound money, property rights, Second Amendment rights, and also, of course, a sensible foreign policy of national defense. That is the only alternative to what we have today. If you seek, as I do, peace and prosperity, it can be found by restoring the great values of this country. And if we do that, I'll tell you what, the whole world will benefit. So often today they believe that so many want to promote our presence around the world because they say that we are an exceptional nation. We are, and we have been. But you can't push your exceptionalism on other countries by force. You can't go invade and bomb people and say, we're exceptional, you got to live the way we do. If we set a standard of individual liberty and prosperity and peace, the rest of the world will notice. Then they will want to emulate us. It's much easier to promote our cause through peaceful means than it is through war. And this is what we have. This is what we have to offer. We don't have to go backwards. We go pick up some pieces and we move forward and refine the understanding of liberty like it's never been understood before. And it's only been tested a short period of time in this country. And a lot of times they'll accuse us of wanting to go backwards. But let me tell you, those who accuse us of wanting to go backwards are going backwards toward tyranny, and we don't need to go in that direction. So I don't think it's difficult to define the problems. I think the answers can be found, and this is what we're all about today. And today, especially because in an election, I want to make sure that everybody tonight goes out and votes and make a statement for this cause. Because if we truly want to promote the cause of liberty and restore its greatness, we can find it very easily in the cause of liberty. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight and joining us in this effort to restore liberty to this great country. Thank you very much.
Ron Paul, what can I say?
it says that we do the best against Obama. Winning the primary, of course, is very, very important, but winning the general election also is very, very important. It is our message that appeals to the independents, to the Democrats, and to the Republican base.
Corporations are people, my friend. Corporations are people, my friend.
Obama.
If you're looking for someone who's never changed any positions on any policies, then I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy.
It's really someone wanting to give Romney the money while staying in the shadows.
Mitt Romney stealing all of Barack Obama's big dollar Wall Street donors.
A good chunk of his funds came from his buddies on Wall Street, like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Bank of America.
To get that kind of money, you've got to cozy up as an incumbent to all of the special interest groups who can go out and raise money for you from their members. That kind of relationship has an influence on the way you're going to vote.
But look, I'm not going to spend my time going after Ben Bernanke. I'm not going to take my effort and focus on the Federal Reserve.
Should the chairman of the Federal Reserve be appointed again?
I think he's doing a good job.
You do?
Yes, I do. And I think it's important to have the Fed as an independent agency. I do not think you want to have the Congress of the United States trying to pull strings at the Fed.
Will remain a danger to the Federal Reserve System as well. Yes. And the Fed, right, and the Fed. Yeah.
Max and the Fed, Max. Max and the Fed.
If you're looking for someone who's never changed any positions on any policies, then I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy.
When they describe you and me as being dangerous. That's one thing, they are telling the truth, because we are dangerous to the status quo of this country.